I was sitting here thinking about the movie The Black Phone. I watched both one and two, and both were phenomenal movies. But I was thinking about, I was gleaning meaning from the first movie. So, in the first movie, this kid gets abducted by a serial killer. Now, he's already abducted five other children, and he held them captive in his basement and eventually ended up murdering them. But Finney ends up getting kidnapped as well. The storyline is just phenomenal, especially the way that they, you know, the storyline in Black Phone 2 as well, the way they added to it. But anyways, I'll keep it simple. But so in the first movie, when Finney gets kidnapped, he communicates with these, dead children through the black phone. The black phone is in the basement. It's supposedly a phone that doesn't work. But the dead children are using that phone to communicate with Finney. Each child gives Finney a hint of something they can use to try to escape the serial killer, right? So the one thing was a cord. There was a long black cord, which he thought he was going to use to escape through the window. The window was pretty high up and there's a bar in front of it. So he got to getting the wire around the window bar to try to climb up and escape through the window, but that didn't work. It didn't work out. So he's probably thinking, why the fuck would he tell me about this cord if I cannot use it to escape through the window, right? It just seems pointless, all the advice that the kids are giving him, because it doesn't work out the way he necessarily thinks it's going to work out. The other kid tells him about how to dig this hole near the bathroom and the floor. So he digs that hole with all his might, and he can't escape through it. Again, he just spent all this energy digging this hole, and he can't even escape through it. What the fuck, right? And then the other kid tells him about making this hole in the wall, because right on the other side of it, there's a freezer that he could escape out through. Again, he uses all his energy and might to make this hole in the wall using the lid of the toilet tank, that lid, that ceramic lid. He bangs into the wall, gets to the freezer. But then he can't escape through the freezer because it has a lock. So he's like, again, what the fuck is the point? Why did they tell me to do this when this wasn't going to help me to escape? Then another kid calls up and gives him, there's a combination number, but he has to figure out how the combination numbers actually go. Well, anyways, the kid gives him all the digits, but he has to figure it out. But he has to get past the serial killer who's upstairs, but he fell asleep. So he ends up getting past the serial killer to this combo lock that's on the door. By the way, the serial killer left the basement door open because he plays that game with the children. He wants them to try to get past them so he could kill them. Well, anyways, so he gets past the guy, gets the combination lock open. He actually makes it out and gets caught by the serial killer. So, again, another failed, piece of advice. So he ends up back in the same place. Then the last person to call was his actual best friend. And he said, this is what you got to do. You got to take the dirt, that from all the shit he dug up. Take that dirt, fill the phone. He's like, this is the last call. Fill the phone with the dirt, and this is how you're going to hit him with the phone. So he ends up doing that, enacting that plan. And it was interesting because he make that wire that he tried to use to get out of the window, he used it to make a trip, like a trip wire. So he did end up tripping the serial killer. He tripped him, then the kid laid this carpet over that hole, then his foot fell into that hole, he cracked his ankle, then the pieces of the puzzle started coming together. Sometimes, and it reminded me and then the hole in the wall actually to the freezer, he couldn't use that, but that actually ended up being used in the second movie. So you see, it just reminded me of the fact that sometimes you get leads, like you're going to do specific things. You think that it's going to lead to a certain outcome and it doesn't. You can get discouraged, but it's like, no, you have to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. It's all going to work out for that end goal. Maybe not the way that you thought for each individual thing, but it's all going to work together for your good. You know, that's kind of like what that scene, what that, you know, those details in the movie remind me of. So yeah, and he did end up killing the serial killer. He did hit him with the phone filled with the dirt. His friend told him exactly how to punch him and what moves to make, and then he ended up strangling him with the cord of the phone. So it all worked. It didn't work how he necessarily thought it might, but it all came together.